Okay, so just running about 10 minutes late again, as usual. This is going to be a ruler demo on, I'm just using the Westerly sampler set for today. Sorry, that's my phone buzzing, which I'll get rid of that noise. So I've just loosely put the foot on. You can see it's just there. Okay, I'm hoping you can see at this angle. I have ruled a square on this piece of fabric. It's about 6 by 8 inches square. I wrote 4, but it's 6 by 8. And I've found the center point, so I put a mark there. Now, these ruler sets, they come with, there we go. So they come with six rulers, okay? So they're them there. You can do all sorts of different designs with them, just depending on your abilities and everything. But starting from the start, this is a great one to start with. And to begin with, I like to always start with the circle one. So I'm going to, I'm just hoping, Judy Downing's there. Hi Judy, how you going? So the first, and these sets are about $77 now. I just need to put my eyes on because everything looks a bit blurry. Oh, that's a bit clearer. So I've still got that thread on that I had earlier. I've got a slider mat on this one. It's just stuck to my plate, my table, and the foot is really, really loose to begin with. Okay, I've just got it on loose because every time I change the fabric and the wadding, I have to adjust the foot. So the first thing I do is drop the foot down. You can see it's still nice. It's just like a duck on water. It's just sitting there. And then I do it up finger tight. I get my little screwdriver. Hi Tony, how you going? My little screwdriver. I then give it a proper tightening. I then grab my top thread, needle down, needle up. Make sure the needle is going to clear your foot. Needle down again. Now with these, you cannot lift the foot up. So I'm trying to lift the foot up while the needle is in the down position. And the reason being is because of the thickness of it. Okay, so I'm just going to get those threads out of there, just because they will annoy me. Oopsie daisy. And I'm going to just grab that one there, pull that back up, hold on to those, foot down, just bring that up a bit, needle down, there we go. Alright, so you can see that the actual foot's really quite high, like I can see that there's quite a big gap. So I'm going to adjust this every time I see any movement. Sorry, just loosening it. See it drop a long way there. So and then again, I'll tighten her up. So any kind of adjustment like that, I'm always going to, that was too big a gap. If I can get a pair of scissors under there, that's way too big. Right, that's fine. You're not stalking me. Hi, Pat. Hi, Ella. Hi, Rhonda and Marilyn. How you going? Just so you know, in those orders with all the fabric and everything the other night, just so you know, I haven't forgotten them. I have got them in the system. They're all in draft, just in case after this weekend there's something else that you would like. So if you haven't received an invoice, don't sort of freak out. Now, I'm going to use Circle Template 2. There it goes. Mine are really scratched up. The ones you get are nice and new. I also have this thing here, which is like a, what do they call it? A sanding paper. It's like that, but it's adhesive. Hi Karen, Kate, how you going? And this one here comes in the kit. Now you can see it's got what they call a gate. You can see all my sticky tape and everything. So you just move that back and open the gate. So let me just, what's that on there? God only knows, tape. That's goober from the tape. Get rid of it. Good God. There we go. So I'll move the tape back a little bit. You can see all the tape where I've been sticking it down. One thing you don't want to do is lose these little gateways. You lose a gateway and you're sort of, yeah, buggered. So that, then I slip that under there. Come back here and pop it back in here like that and put the tape back down. Okay, so hopefully this phone doesn't zoom in and out too much with me with my hands. Now on these templates, you can see these white lines. They're reference lines. So if you've got crosshatch lines drawn across your piece, you can use those to line up. And a lot of starters, I tend to say to do that. It's a lot easier to line up with a line that you've ruled across the center than it is to just guess. But for starters, I'm just going to place my fingers on the edge. So I've got one finger on here, I've got my thumb there just because I can, and the rest of my fingers are here. And you'll want to do this pressing thing. You see how my fingers are whitening, but you need to release, relax, drop your shoulders, put your machine speed down a fraction more, because ruler work is not a fast person's game. So just want to make sure how fast I'm going. And just keeping that foot butt up against the edge of the ruler, nice and steady. And I haven't moved anything other than the fabric. And I get back to where I started and press stop. All right, now I can move the ruler around. So those templates are in my quilt box, hence the word box. I'm excited that you're using them. Good. So I've done one in front of me. I like to work where I can see. I don't want to be trying to guess too much. So what I do then, now I'm going to grab those tails and just move them out of my stitching area. I don't really want to be stitching them in. Just move the fabric around. Now, if you've got a massive quilt, you cannot move the fabric. You can literally just move the template. So you'd go from here to here, that sort of thing. All right, so it's not essential to have to roll around the quilt. In this case, we are, because it's a small piece of fabric, we can, why not? But if you have to, and I'll show you how to do it backwards, it's the same way as doing it forwards. And you can stitch the same way, and there's no right or wrong way to go. So if you want to go the left way or the right way, so I'm going to go this way this time. Just keep my fingers out of the way, and you can see I just go around nice and steady. You don't want to go too slow because your stitches will be like tiny little knots. Okay, and I'll get back to where I started. There. As you're quilting along, sometimes with this ruler foot, you'll find that the gap is getting bigger and bigger. And when that happens, that's when you need to drop that foot down again. You'll see it eventually. So rather than moving my fabric, I'm just going to move the ruler over. Okay, I'm keeping it level here, so I can see that I've got my circle's going to be reasonably straight, or straight circle. So I'm just going to get rid of that little bit of thread because it's driving me nutty. There we go. So I'm going to keep that level against there. This is going to stay parallel to that. Just put my fingers on it, a nice pressure, but not too heavy. I don't want to see any white knuckles or white fingers. Just having your fingers on just to hold it is enough. You don't need to be doing these ones, and you certainly don't need to have like the full-on grip on it. It's not, you don't need to monkey grip it, okay? The more pressure you put on it, it actually creates resistance, which means you can't move it around, okay? So let's start. This time I didn't move the fabric around. I literally just moved the ruler back to where I started. That's where we stitch. I'm just going to stop right there. I'm going to get rid of those little darling threads because they're irritating me. I've said that 3 times now. And then I'm just going to keep going. And as long as you keep that ruler up against the edge of this template, it's going to stay there. Now, that doesn't mean you're sitting there pushing it against. You don't want to be pushing. Hi, Joylene, how you going? You don't have to be pushing it against it. You just have to guide it. Now, to do the other side, I'm just going to move it over here. I'm keeping it parallel. Hold that down there, just nice and firm, but not press, okay? I do stress not to overpress. Now I could feel my finger was going to be in the way of that needle screw, the screw for the needle. Oh, that was very close. And we're almost there, back to the center. Now, I can move the fabric around, or I can just line this up. Now, if you have a look, see over here, I'm lining up that white line with the center of those two thread stitches that meet, okay, the crossover. And that, theoretically, should give me the center of this lining up with that. So, because I don't have cross hair lines marked on it, can I get those templates, please? Sure, Pat. You got a high or low shank? I think you've got a low shank machine, haven't you? So I'm just going to press start. Excuse me. So Steady now the sole owners of the Westerly design rulers. They've been purchased, Westerly have been purchased by an American company called So Steady. They're a lovely company to deal with, and you can get lots and lots of videos there, or you can just Google it, and YouTube have heaps and heaps of videos of Leonie there. Yep, no worries, Pat. Okay, can you see the gap between that ruler now, ruler foot now, and the fabric? Can you see that it's getting a bigger gap between those two things? So there's a little bit more movement. You see how the fabric was jumping? Now, can you see that? See how now I've got this gap here? So what I need to do, and that's because all this stitching is pushing down the fabric. So what I need to do is loosen that, and you'll watch the foot go down, and I'll zoom in so you can see it. Ready? Oops, a daisy. So watch that foot. See? Dropped. So that shows you that the fabric's been pushed down that much. You just want it to glide along the top. I don't want it to be, I don't want to be pushing into the fabric. If I've got to push into the fabric, then I'm creating too much resistance. So I am going to turn the fabric this way, just so I can see what I'm doing. I'm lining up those lines, excuse me, lines again with that as well. I'm going to press start, keep my hand out of the way. I don't want to get my finger caught under that needle, and I did have a bit of a jump there, but blind man would love to see it. So if I was doing a block and I wanted to just do something nice and simple, it's decorative, but it's I've had a bit of a tension issue there too by the looks. So it's not over the top, then this is something you could do. I'm just going to line up again with that centre bit there. You can see a tension issue, but being a sample, I don't really care. In a quilt, I would definitely care, but sample, no. Okay, and then, and that loopy thing, or that loose thread, could very well be because my foot was too high. Oh, I have circle, better use one day. Yes, I'm a newbie to this, and my thread keeps breaking and not catching the bobbin thread sometimes. What am I doing wrong? Is that while you're using the rulers? My thread keeps breaking and not catching the bobbin thread sometimes. Okay. Is it making a hole in the fabric as well? Is it? And is it while you're just using rulers? Okay, there we go. There's the first one, just using your circles. I have a question. Bought the low shank for my Elna machine. A quilt novice. Can I use the same foot on the Janome 2030? Yes, the low shank, well, the 2030 is a low shank, yes. So yes, you can swap them between the two machines. It's universal. And Janome and Alna tend to talk to each other most of the time. So I'm a newbie to this and my thread keeps breaking and not catching the bobbin thread sometimes. It could be that your foot's too high. So the big thing you want to make sure is that when you have your foot down, it's like you could fit a piece of paper under it, but that's all. Anything more than a piece of paper, it won't fit under. So you see how if I push down under, I can fit a piece of paper, but I certainly wouldn't be able to fit something that was thicker, like this. So it's a bit hard, see? And I definitely couldn't fit a pair of scissors under without shoving, you know, like full on pushing it under. It's not going to go right under. All right, so it's just got to sit on there like a duck on water. If you've got your foot too high, it can actually break your thread, and it can also not catch the bobbin. No hole just while using rulers. Okay, sorry guys, my bloody internet's playing up. That's all right, Gidget. Okay, so no hole just while using rulers. So if there's no hole, so it's not making the whole thing. Okay, so while you're using rulers. All right, so what machine do you have, Deborah? Just waiting for Deborah to answer. There's a bit of a delay, so while I'm waiting, I'll go on to the next one. So my next one I'm going to use. Hi Sue. Hi Stella. The next one I'm going to use is the Spinifex one of the Spinifex rulers. It's a 3.5 inch ruler. Brother embroidery sewing machine. Yeah, okay. Is it the brother foot, or is it a westerly foot? All right, so again, before I start, I'm going to lift this up just while I'm waiting for Deborah. I'm just having a bit of, hi, Debbie. My embroidery machine is a Brother NQ350. I got a while back, but still learning it. Nice. Jenny Smith. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Jenny. All right, so this one. This is a Spinifex 3.5. First things first, I'm going to take that little bit of thread out of there, have it above the foot. My foot is in a good position, as in I can move that fabric underneath and I've got no pushing. There's no gathering of the fabric. Yeah, okay. So brothers can be really, really funny with the westerly feet. Without being there to see it and use it and to do it, it's hard to say what's causing it. Sometimes the brother machines just don't like anything other than their own. They won't take a generic of any kind, and a westerly would be classed as a generic foot. So it could be the foot, but I'm thinking that if you can get the foot a little bit lower, so it's sort of, even though I like to have it just sitting on the top of the fabric, just so it's a little bit further down than that, that would be good, and that might help. But yeah, it will be the fact that the westerly and the Janome don't, not Janome, the brothers, I don't have the foot or the rulers. Yep. Pat, but I think you've got an old machine, haven't you, too? No, I don't have the foot or the rulers. So I've got the feet here too, Pat, as well. May have to practice more free motion. Yeah, I never use my foot rulers. Oh, Debbie, honestly, Deborah and Debbie, they are absolutely brilliant to use. Some machines like them, some don't. It is a matter of playing around with them. But once you get used to it, and once the machine sort of, is happy with you, it works beautifully. So I'm with you, Debbie. Haven't used mine either. A lot of people get caught up at the shows and they buy these rulers, and then they think, oh, there's a fabulous. You see Leonie doing them, you see other people doing them, you think, oh, they're brilliant. I can do that. That looks so easy. Then when you get to do it at home, without that one-on-one training, it can be a little bit hard and overwhelming. So hence the reason why there are lots and lots of videos out there. There's lots of reasons why something might not go right. So knowing brand of the machine, knowing if you've got a machine and it has a ruler foot, free motion ruler foot, that is the same brand as the machine, you're best to use that. So some Genomes, you can get a ruler foot for your Genome. So if you've already got one, you can just use the ruler foot that you can buy for the Genome. If you don't have that facility, the Westerly will work just as fine. Yeah, so your old Genome, Pat, will probably work really well with the foot. You'll probably find. Hi, Anne. Yes, that's what I did. Yep. After showing how to use, they're coming. Yep. I bought for my Genome 1600p. Your 1600p is a high shank. Yes, that's what I did. A lot of people do that. Gidget, you're not alone. It's just knowing how to use them. So let me show you how to use this one. Can be used one way or the other. I'm going to use it this way, the pointy bit's in. All right, so I'm going to have the pointy end in and the round bit out. This is also a good one if you've got cross-hatch lines. I'm going to just guess it and see how we go. So just starting. Again, my machine is not going a million miles an hour. And I get back to the same spot I started. Now, if I want to, I can just turn it around and stitch backwards if I want to, and I'm going to, just to show you it is possible if you've got this great big quilt underneath here and you want to just not have to roll it around all the time. And off we go. And back down to the start. Now, sometimes you might need to tweak it a little bit and just jump it over a stitch just to get back to the center, and that's all good and proper. I'm going to turn it this way so I can do it this way. I'm just eyeballing at the moment. I'm using those lines that are at the side there to line up with my last stitch. Hi, Helen. Oh, yep, no worries, Ella. I get you. Get what you mean. Okay, so we're just moving along. You can make a 4-leaf clover or a 3-leaf clover. You can turn it into whatever you like. And I'm going to do this way, lining up those lines with the, as close as I can with the edge of that stitch again. And go back and do this top one. Now I've just used a water-soluble pen just to mark it. Normally I'd use my sew line, but I couldn't find it when I was looking, and I've just realised I've got it over on next to my computer. Is that cotton out of Metla set I bought? Yeah, Debbie, it is. Yeah, this is the yellow one. Hello, Chris. Model number for my Genome, but still no rulers or feet. So that's an old one, Pat. So I would say that it would be a low shank ruler and low shank feet. Your Genome will cope well with it. All right, so now I'm going to go in the middle, and I can see that my lines on the side here are going to match up with those stitches there, so I just line them up the best I can, and I'm going to go in between each of these petals, and you'll see there'll be a tiny little overlap, which creates a really nice effect. bit like the circle. Okay, and then I'm just going to roll it around here so I can see what I'm doing. Move the template to the next area. I'll line up those stitches here and here. I might do that a little bit over. A little bit jerky there, I did. That's not the ruler's fault, that's my fault. Yeah, it's just a beautiful thread. Yeah, of course, Pat, I can pop them on your order. I'm going to try and process all those orders on Sunday night to clean up the board before Monday, because Monday I've got a whole heap of fabrics as well. So if you do order things tonight, I'm going to try and clean up the invoices and that on the computer on Sunday. You can make this into a flower. If you can imagine this like on a really nice dark blue or something like that, and you've got a really lovely variegated thread. It'd be lovely. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut off, lift up my foot. Now I can move it out of the way. Take off my little tail there. I got a little tail, and there you go. You've got a really, really nice flower. Are you using that slippery thing on your mat? Yeah, so I've got one of these. It's 100 years old, but how do you stop the ruler slipping around? Aha, Carolyn, you can go to Bunnings and get those sticky dots, the sandpaper sticky dots, and chuck them on. This is it, but in a strip. And it's like a sandpaper, and I just put it on the back of the template. There it is there, and that stops them from slipping around. You cannot use them without that. Without that, if I've got it around the other side, as soon as I put any pressure on it, it just slides around. Yeah, and Gidget just helps with that movement. Just gives me a little bit more freeness underneath that, especially when I'm putting a bit of pressure down with a ruler. So that's the Spin Effects 3.5 inch. Okay, that's that one, and that's in that starter kit. Now the next one I'm going to use is the daisy. Oh, can't pick it up. Yes, I'm going to turn it around so we can read it. Oh, a daisy. Get that under there. There you go. Circles on Quilts, and it's called Spinning Wheel 36, and it's 5.5 inches is the size. I don't know if you can see that there. I've got my little sticky thing there, and I've got my sticky thing there, and I normally put them, so if I've got, say, something circular, I might go, 1, 2, 3, try and do that where you can see that. So I might go 1, 2, and then 3, but normally with these ones I'll go top and bottom or side to side. Yeah, so that's how I do those. So I need to find a space for this, and I'm thinking, just looking at the space I've got, go under there, I'll probably end up overlapping the way I'm going, just looking at it. Yeah, it will overlap, so I might just grab another square. Was that Bunnings on the template? On that template, I missed it. What was that Bunnings? Oh, Bunnings will have the little circle sandpaper dots, that's the stuff that actually stops the templates from moving around. Normally when you get a kit though, so in the kit you'll see there's that, where is it? There it is there. See that stuff there at the back, that white strip? That's the same sort of stuff. So you get some of that in your kit. So that does help. All right. Now I'm just going to grab another square of fabric. Bear with me. because this will be bigger than my piece that I've got there. How much is a starter set, please? Sorry if you had already seen the price. No, that's all right, Judy. There's $77.50 for the starter set, and your ruler foot, sorry, is I think 38 off the top of my head. I don't normally sell the ruler foot with the normal one. I normally sell the one that is a couching foot as well, because it works exactly the same. There's no point having two. One couching and one not. They're both ruler feet. One does couching, the other doesn't. Judy, I forgot to ask how much too. That's all right. All right, so that's those two. So I'll just move that for now. Now this one, on this one, you see it's got A and B there. It's upside down, but I can't get it to fit up through. Oh, there we go. A and B, and you can also see there's a little pinhole there. See that there? That's actually a pinhole. Now, what you need is, where did I put them? You'll get these little pins, little tacks in your kit. So these ones are old ones. They don't supply these ones anymore. These are really big, and you tend to get yourself caught on them. They do have a little stopper on the top, but just for today I'll use it. Now what you do is you find the center of your fabric. So I'm going to turn it over that way because that side's bigger. I'll pop it under there. I'm going to find the center, and I've placed the pin underneath and through my fabric like that. See? Now all you need to do to get rid of that little hole, and they do leave a small hole, but it will go away, is you actually just spray and steam your fabric, and that hole will disappear. Then you put your template on there like that, see? Like that. Then make sure you put that under there. Alright. Now, with your A and B, so we've got A and B here. I'm just going to show you A and B. There's these little lines here. See those lines? So we're going to start at A, go around to B, and then stop. No worries, Ella, that's fine. So I've just I think we've got enough room to do this one, so in this bit of fabric. Now I can see that probably a fraction low, but I think I'll deal with it without stabbing myself on that pin. Just going to take that out of there. So my needle is going to go down in line with that line there. Down there, like that. I'm going to stitch all the way around the edge of this, all the way around to B, okay? Again, not going too fast. All the way up to the top. You got that pause, gives you your nice point. Oops, a daisy got caught on something underneath. And around to your B. And stop. Then turn the template so that your needle is at A again. You see that? So I'll do it again. That's where we stopped. And I push the template, not the fabric, to the A. So now the A is again lined up with my needle. See there? Go around again. This is a lot of fun, this one. It makes a really nice wreath. Keep my finger away from that screw. So I've stopped at B, started over here, and I've stopped at B. I'm going to get the template and just move it nice and gentle. And look where it's going to stop. A is now lined up with my needle. So you go to there, and you come again. How cool is this? Again, A to B, or B to A, sorry. Turn my fabric a bit so I can see it. I've probably got that a little bit out. That's alright. Blind man would like to see it. and all the way back to B and stop. B to A, all the way around up to the top and back down to B and stop. Turn my template and my fabric, and again. I hope you've all been on YouTube and seen the couching videos. I finally got them down, uploaded, I should say, and it took me so many goes, I can't tell you. And I got it into, I think, 3 videos or 4, 3. I think it was 3. So you can stop and start at any time you like and see me make that really lovely bright blue bag with the couching. I hope you can see what's happening here. It's looking nice on my end. And I've got one more to go. Turn my fabric just so I can see where I'm going. Start at A. And I'll just show you. See here, this line here. See how that is? That has to sit on that previous stitch, that stitch there. Don't have it off, have it right on, and that will tell you that you're going to line up. Just an FYI, that is. I'm going to come all the way back, move my finger, back to where we started. And stop, cut off. Of course you can, Pat, you can do that. And move this, take that off that pin, take it out, don't leave it in there. And I'll just move it there so you can see it. I hope you can see that. And you've done a wreath. Now that will fit into most size blocks, yeah? So you could do that. I mean, you can cross hatch in the center, or you can stipple it in the center there. You can go along. Now you've got your free, because this is no different than any other free motion foot except for the size of the sides. The sides are quite high. So if you wanted to, you can go here from point to point. Might not be perfect circle, but it'll do the job. Or you can use your circle template. I'm just using them at random. Stop again. There you go. Hey, I've just joined up point to point. Now I could cross hatch in there if I want to. I can stipple it, whatever I like. I can leave it. All right, so that is using that template, and that template was Circles on Quilts. Oh, a bit hard to get in there. Spinning wheel, 36, 5.5 inches wide. So that's that one. That comes in the starter kit. Now, the next thing I'm going to show, now there's a couple here that I won't show you, which is the arch, because that sort of speaks for itself. It's a matter of you lining up lines as you go. You line up your previous stitches. Once you've done these other ones, this one will become self-explanatory. Now, next one I want to do, and I'm going to do it on this one here, is I'm going to use this line, and I'm going to do the little ones because I think they're cute. And this is your clamshell. Okay, so I'm going to use a little side because, yeah, I like them. I think they're sweet. So I'm going to do probably 2 rows, but I'm going to show you how this works. Now, you've got a center mark. You have a line here, which will be the top of the previous line. You have a line here where your needle will go, okay? These are the center lines for in between. Now with this, your first row is always the easiest. The templates are fabulous. How many are in the starter kit, please, Michelle? Joanne, there are 6 in the starter kit. and that includes the tape for the to stop them from slipping, the non-slip tape, and a couple of pins in there as well. So starting over here, it's a bit hard because I'm on the edge of the fabric, and that always makes it a little bit testy. So I'm going to just put my needle down on the line, bury my thread. I'm going to place that in there. Now that line here, okay, that top one there, that is where my needle is going to end. Okay, so I've got it upside down. Do you need to draw a line on your work to follow? Look, it works. Yeah, the yellow cotton does hide in the white fabric. It does work to have lines. Especially when you're first starting, to have just to give you a guide, Pat, it really does help. So I'm going to come around to here and stop there so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll zoom in a little for you. Now I'll start there and go to there, and then just pause that little bit. I didn't go quite far enough in. In we go. There we are. See how it went straight to that line? If you need to stop, always stop on that little point in the middle there. So if I was going to stop, I'd stop there. Okay? So I haven't moved my ruler, but because I've got a line there, if I do move it, I'm all right. So I'm moving the fabric, not the template this time, the fabric. And I get to here and I go, oh my God, my ruler's only so long. That's okay, because when we grab the ruler and we move it along and we get more out of it. So you can do borders with this. It's really, really effective. There is a larger size as well on the other side of it. So I'm just going to go to here. Okay, going to stop there at the edge. So the other side is much bigger. So the other side, zooming in and out. And that's the little one we're using right now. Now, my next row, if I was to just start by moving up a little bit and then doing exactly what I did, I'm only going to get an echo. So what you have to do is, I'm just going to use the edge of this little fella, and I'm going to go up the side of my seam and stop there. And if I do that, see how I'm only going to echo? I need to go here. Okay, now I need to go a little bit further, because what I want to see, I need to come down. What I want to see is this line, the first line, line up with the top of that there. All right, so I'm lining up this one. I'm just going to use the scissors because you can see that line there, line up with that thread. That one there, that one lines up with the center. I'm just going to move it over a fraction. I'm going to come back down there, and I'm going to come in here. This is the oh my God factor. I'm going to stop there just to reposition myself. I'm going to check here. This is the slow part, checking. I'm going to check here, and I'm lining up for the next one. That's fabulous. So I keep the ruler in there. I make sure that that line is still lining up with the top of this nicely. It's hard to see from this angle. Like that. Now, I've noticed, and if you have a look here, I don't know if you can see here, see if it'll let me guide in. See here, see that line is off center from that yellow thread? The only time you can adjust this is when you're at the top of that clamshell. So while you're at the top, where that line is, that center line, you need to then move your template over to line up with that stitch. And then you need to make sure you're lined up with this line. Lots of lining up. A little bit more technical. And then go in here. And just stop and reposition yourself. And you can see here, that does not line up with that previous stitch. So I can't move it. I can't move it that way. It won't go anywhere. So I need to go up to the top and stop. Move my template over and then resume down to that point there. It's lots of little stops and starts, but that's okay. Yeah, it is cool. And then I'm going to go back up to the top here and stop. It looks pretty lined up to me, so I'm happy with that. And go on to the next one. To there. Okay, just make sure it's in properly. And go to the next one. This does take a bit of practice. I am making it look easy. I'm going to give you the heads up. It takes a while to get them to look so nice. Alright, so if I zoom out, you'll see what I mean. You can see all mine are meeting nice and they all look lovely. It does take time and practice to learn how to get them so neat. Just to give you a heads up, don't start your first quilt, your first ruler work, sorry, on a quilt. Start it on some scrap pieces and create yourself a little bit of a quilt library with your templates, so you can figure out what each template does. Okay, a lot of them come with ideas in the packaging, which is always worthwhile a quick read, just so that you can get your head around what they're capable of. But don't let them, you know, just don't let them get over you. Like, don't let them beat you, and just keep persevering, because you will win. They're not that good that they can beat us. Right. Up to the top. Reline. Making sure. Now, and then we go up to a last one. I'm just making sure that's lined up. Hope this video is nice and clear for you. And there you are. Okay, I'll just move it this way so you can see. So I've just done all along here. Okay, you can see all the way along here. My next row, because I've finished on the half of the clamshell, my next row is going to start exactly from that point here, like your first row. So you do a full one, full, half, all the way up. So my next thing would be to get this and line it up here, so that there lines up there. You'll find yourself a nice comfy spot, whether you go crossways this way or up and down this way, whichever way that ruler fits nicely in your hand and feels comfortable to use, that's how you use it. So let's go and do the first one, and I'll just show you a little way across because I want to get to the next ruler. Make sure that might have to just tweak that I should say. If you're clever, you can tweak it while you're sort of up the top there and just move it along a little. But if you don't move it along, what's going to happen is that it's going to eventually be completely out of line from one row to the next. I'm just going to come back here. Movement in the ruler, that's okay. I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way for you. Yeah, I didn't quite get down there. I don't know if you saw that. I just maneuvered that ruler over while I was up at the top there without stopping. That is possible. Suggestion is do that once you've done it quite a lot. Alright, there you go. I'm just going to zoom that back out a little. There it is there. That's your clamshells. Can you imagine that in a nice border all the way around your quilt? Not necessarily in the small ones, but in the large ones you could do it quite nicely. All right, so that's another one. There you are. So that, the clamshell, a double clamshell, large and small, and there is on here, there we are, 5 inch by 1 inch and 1.5 by 3 inch. Okay. Now I'll cut that off. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it over here, I think. I'm going to show you a corner thing. Now, I don't have anything drawn up or that. I'm just going to start over here and sort of work my way. So I'm going to put bury my thread, because once I've done this, I need a coffee. All right, it's 3 o'clock. All right, so this one works both one way and then the other way. So I have 2 bits of non-slip stuff, the oh my god, sandpaper, sticky sandpaper things on there, and one on the back. This little sort of dip there, that is for hooking behind there. This one looks like it's going to be quite an easy ruler, but I would say it's probably one of the hardest ones out of it. So I'm just trying to, I'll just maneuver my camera just so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. All right, it's hard because you've got to try and get back to the same spot. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to pretend that I'm in a square and show you what it can do. It does like a curvy crosshatch, okay? My rulers come with a sampler project that stores the rulers in it. Nice. The video is clear and understanding it. Your words make so much sense. The box, when I open it up, has overwhelmed me. Hence, they sat in the box. Not anymore. Good. Great for fish or mermaid scales. Yeah, absolutely. Debbie, that's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. So this one works in reverse too. So you're working from behind, and then you're moving it across. If you start this way, you're going to have nothing to line it up against as you move backwards. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll do the first one. It's going to be a little bit difficult because I'm right on the edge of that fabric. So bear with me if I make boo-boos. I'm all the way up here. I'm just going to come back, and I'm going to come back to that same spot I started. And I've come off the ruler a bit. There we go. Back to there. Now my next thing is I'm going to need that stitch there to line up with the lines on this ruler. Oh, sorry. Smack you around there, guys. Sorry about that. If I worked from this way and I was going backwards, I'd have nothing to line it up with. So if I'm using this, I need to line up. See how I can line up here? See the line? I can line it up with that ruler. And then I can have a small, medium, large, gap between them. But I'll go the small because I've got a small area just for you to see. And again, it's going to be hard for me to get it to move because I'm right in that corner. So I'm going to come down here and just help myself by giving myself some something to hang on to. Oops-a-daisy, come off the ruler again. This one is a hard one. And I did come off, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Move it forward, and I'll use the second row. So I've done one small row, and I'm going to use the big one. By the way, try not to do it on the edge of the fabric. It's very hard. All right. And that one worked better. And then we'll do one small one. And oops-a-days, a little wobble, and then work that way. You can, if you have like a seam to stitch into, you can actually stitch down the seam and then just come back in to for the next row. It's going to do a larger one. I'm just keeping this small just so I can show you what it can do, and you'll understand what I mean on a larger scale. Alright, and then one more after that. I'm just turning my fabric as well, so I'm doing a small one. Yeah. And then come back down to that start point. Now, you might think, oh, that's nice. I'm going to turn it over so it faces the other way. And I'm going to come down this way, okay? And I'm going to start from behind again. I'm starting from behind the foot, the needle. I don't want to have it in front of the foot. I want it to be starting from back here somewhere. So again, like I said, I've got very little amount of room, but I'll start one line first. Is my first line is going to be my point of where I go for next one. Oops, days, move the ruler again. And I've run out of fabric. Come off my point. Doesn't matter. Oops, a daisy. There we go. Now, I've got some sort of a line there, so I'm just going to move this up and I'm going to line up my second line with that stitch. I didn't get far enough. I couldn't with the fabric. I just don't have the room. So I'm going to bring that up there. And I'm going to, oops, days, come off there. A bit wobbly, that one. You'll get what I mean anyway. I don't do perfect. You all know that, don't you? I don't have to keep reiterating, do I? Move it around there. And come back. It is easier when you've got more fabric. Trust me on that one. Then I move it to a single line, the first line. It keeps getting caught on me. So that one to there. And I know sometimes I sound a bit basic, but I can only explain it to you in my language because I don't speak any other. I have my silly language. So I hope you do understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So what you're going to get is a cross-hatching effect. So I'm just going to stop there, cut off. God, that does not do, God does not do perfectly. No, he does not. No one does. All right, so you can see, well, that might make a really nice lotus pod. So you can see how it's starting to do the crosshatch. And on a larger scale, you'll see these diamond shapes all come up. Okay, so you can see how it's starting to come across itself. As you were getting bigger, it would just make bigger crosshatches, and it really is quite pretty. If you can use this, then you can use this one, because this one is not much different from this, except it's probably easier. It's just doing arches. And while we've got that 5 minutes to spare, I'm just lining up the arch there. There's got lines there. I'll line it up there. And I'm just going to go across there. Whoopsie daisy. And then I'm going to travel up, move that up, and then I'm going to go across here, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to travel up a bit to about there. And just make it, I'm going to make it look really difficult. But if that gives you an idea, it can just make some arches. Okay. Basic. Oh God, which is your silly language, Michelle? The basic stuff. But we all get close to. Yeah, absolutely. So you can also cross hatch with this as well. So if you were to cut off here, you could come across the opposite way. Sorry, I messed it up. And you could come across this way and, excuse me, and do your arch that way. So you'd work from here across, and I'll just do a quick demo this way. Pretend that I've gone all the way across the fabric and there. Okay, and there, move it up. There. Up, move it up, and then across. That thread's going to get in the way, isn't it, really badly? Alright, so that gives you an idea of what you can actually do. Sorry, that camera moved. There you are. So another crosshatch, all right? And that's just using the little arch. So this one comes in the kit, and it's a 4-inch arch. All right, so I hope you enjoyed. I think I've shown you all of them. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is this one over here. Just zoom out a bit. Yep, and that one. So that is all of them. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. What have I missed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've shown them all to you. I don't think I've missed any. So I've done that one. I've done that one. I'm just double checking. Do all templates come in the starter pack, or are there some that you buy separately? Oh, no. All these, the ones I've just shown you, come in the starter pack. That one there. That one over there. Oh, yep. No, I have done them all. Where's my other one gone? Oh, there. That one there. Oh, yeah, over here. I've got one here. So I have done them all. So this comes with, the starter pack comes with 6 of them. You can buy these individually. It does make it cheaper. I often wondered how to use them and didn't know how to get them. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Michelle, how much are the gloves? Oh, my gloves. Stella, you've got my gloves, haven't you? Tell Margaret about my gloves. They're $36. They are, I've just ordered 100 to come in from the wholesaler. They are the best thing since sliced bread. Don't overheat anymore. I can change threads. I can handle rule. I can do also. I can have a coffee. I can slap my kids. No, I don't. I mean that. I can do all sorts of things. But still have the gloves, but not have all my fingers. And the other thing, it makes you put your hands flat, which is what you need to do when you're quilting, and not be using your fingers. You know, doing these monkey grip things. Fantastic gloves. Easy to understand. Thank you, Michelle. No worries. Wonderful demo. Thanks, Debbie. I make it look easy. I've been told that. The gloves are wonderful. Thanks, Tony. They are. Yes, I love them. They are so good to wear. I love my gloves. I got my gloves about an hour ago. Well done. Awesome. So the gloves are brilliant. Marilyn, if you're after them, just send me a quick PM with that, and I'm happy to supply them to you. Very hard to find as far as suppliers. I'm pretty much one of the only few in the country, I think, and I love them. Absolutely love them. They're my best friend. I wouldn't quilt without them now, and even I piece with them on. I do all sorts of things with them on. All right, I accidentally go to the toilet. I always tell this story. I have been known to go to the toilet and then go, oh my gosh, I've got the gloves on, and then have to go back out, take them off, and then come back in because they're so comfy. You just don't know you've got them on. You forget. Absolutely, the DVD can sometimes be long-winded. Oh, good. Sometimes I feel I am. What brand of gloves? Mine make hands hot. Yeah, Deanna, these are they're called Marcia Baraldi, and I am a dealer for them here in Australia, and you can get them on my website. Or you can just message me direct, and I can send you an invoice. Like you said, Michelle, I sometimes forget I have them on. Yeah, you do. Yeah, would love them. Do I need to PM? Yes, please, Margaret. That would be awesome. I won't. I can't write stuff down. Just home from shops. Hope I can replay. Yes, you can, Kathleen. And I'll also be putting this on YouTube as well by the end of this weekend. The rulers. Okay, Gidget, Margaret, than anyone else interested. The rulers, I'm just going to show you this set. This is, if I can get that under there, it'll be hard for me to move. There we go. The rulers, there they are. It comes in the set. Come on, focus. Focus. Maybe not. Okay, so that's the set there. Template sampler set. They're $77.50. As we pay more in shipping now, coming from the States, not in Australia anymore. And the foot is about $38, $40 for the foot. But if you have a look at mine is designed for couching, which is still a westerly foot. But I use this all my ruler work, right? And if I feel like couching at the same time, I can without having to change my foot. The one thing you'll need to tell me is whether your machine is a high or low shank. The way to do that is you put your foot down, put your finger at the side, and if that screw there doesn't touch your finger or is well above your finger, then that is a high shank. If your finger is sort of sitting on it or just on it, you know, that sort of thing, then it's a low shank. Okay, if you're not too sure, you can always send me the model of your machine. Are the rulers suitable for both and be used on Janome? Yeah, well, I'm using a Janome now, Debbie. They're suitable for both, high or low, but you do need to tell me, like, they come in a low shank set and a high shank. Okay, so I do need to know. Just send me the model of your machine and I can find out for you. Yeah, absolutely, Deanna. I'm happy to help you out with those gloves. Much easier to watch than the Janome DVD. Oh, good, Rado, good. Other rulers and they're rulers and templates. These are just rulers. Well, they call them rulers. So yes, can use the rulers with Janome. I have a Janome and bought them to use with it. Yep, absolutely can, Deanna. And I've only got the Janome machine, so I'm using it here. And I've got a long arm. If you've got high shank machine and you've got high shank rulers, this pack's a low shank. But if you do, I can actually use these rulers on my long arm. So how cool is that? I have a Memory Craft 66p. So when you put the foot down on it and you put your finger at the side, how far up does that screw sit? Or does it sit right on it? I can probably find out. I'll just Google it. Thank you. Answered my question. Couching foot. Is it by West? Yes, it is. Yep. This is, it's got that. You can see the plastic in it. I don't know. Can you see that? I'll try and zoom in a little bit more without losing my camera. I'll just move it over without, try not to press buttons. So it's got a little bit of plastic in there. Can you see that plastic in there? And a hole. That one there. Wendy, it is a couching foot, or they call it a decorative thread foot. This is a westerly one, and it's classed as a generic foot, and it will fit either high shank, low shank, medium shank, whatever your shank your machine is, shank. And I use this for both. So I'll use this for just the normal sewing, which you just seen me do, and I use it for couching, free motion couching. Okay, you get a nice close up. How lovely is it? It's pretty. All right. Yeah, it is a high shank, 6600. I was just thinking about what it was. Wendy Harrison. It's a high shank, Wendy. Yep, so I have them in stock. I think, Pat, your machine from memory would probably be a low shank, which I do have them in stock. And I do have these feet in stock. I also have some I've just ordered, and I'm just waiting for the invoice to come through and pay for, and then they're sending some more over. So if you do put an order in, it'll go, and I don't have it, it'll go on back order, and I won't invoice you until it comes in. So yeah, all right. Well, I'm rambling on a little bit. It's nearly 20 past. I wanted to do another video at 4. It might be about 15:15. 20 past, give me a little bit of time to set myself up, have a coffee, and get ready for doing some stencil work. So I'm going to show you the stencils that I use with the pounce pads and how much fun they are. And I can also leave my foot on, but I'm going to change it because I want to see more and my foot with Janome, because I love my foot with Janome. See that foot there? You can't use that with your rulers, but see how it's an open toe? Love my open toe. So I'm going to swap over. So if you're wanting to do some with me and you've got pounce pads and stencils, get them ready. Get yourself a couple of sandwiches of not food, but fabric and wadding, and put on your open toe foot or your free motion quilting foot, and I'll run through how I do them. Enjoy. Michelle, I use low shank rulers on a 6600P. Okay, do you? Okay, do you find that the ruler slides underneath the foot at all? Do you find that you have any issues with the ruler? Thank you so much. I've always wanted to learn ruler work and never knew where to start. You're welcome, Debbie, and Ella, you're welcome. So do you find that when you're using it, that the ruler goes under, because the rulers are much thinner here, like this part? So if I grab one of these out, this is I'll P in regards to the order. Yeah, sure, I need to learn how to use pounce pads and stencils. Yep, absolutely, no worries, Leslie. Thank you, Stella. So I'll just quickly show you the difference. I'm just going to zoom out a little. So this one here is a high shank, right? So you can see the thickness. This one here is a low shank. So if I put them together, can you see how thick or not so thick they are? So I know it's trying to zoom, isn't it? There we go. If I move back a bit, there we are. So you can see how much one is. Okay. See the difference? So if you've got a low shank ruler, it could slip underneath, whereas the high shank won't. So if you've got this foot up too high, it could slip underneath, and that could cause issues. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Send me a PM if you're interested in anything. I'm happy to help out as much as I possibly can. What I can't help you with out with, I will try and get some information for you if possible. Talk to you all soon. Enjoy. Happy quilting, and talk to you in about an hour. Bye.